Hello everybody!
Hey there!
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the GS ENC English Podcast. My name is Owen.
I'm Lawton.
And today we have going back to season 1 style, we have a dialogue for you.
Another dialogue.
Yeah, so a dialogue with some key expressions and some common errors that we hear in GSTs all the time. What's our dialogue about today?
Yeah, so today our dialogue is going to be about money. So previously in season 1, we had an episode about cost. This one is a little bit more related to buying, purchasing, and is a little bit more general. So it's something that you can use for your work, but also things you can use in just kind of general life.
Yes.
So this time in season 2, we're doing things a little bit differently with the dialogues. What's the change?
Yeah, well, in season 1, we used to ask comprehension questions. This time, we're not going to do that. What we would like you to do is just listen very carefully and try to pick up on 2 errors.
2 common errors.
Mistakes that were made in the dialogue. So we have intentionally put some mistakes in there that we hear all the time in GSTs.
See if you can catch those.
Yeah, let's see if you can pick up on those. So listen very carefully, and then we'll check up on those after the dialogue.
All right, let's listen.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm just looking at getting a new computer.
Nice! How much does a gaming PC come to these days?
They cost much money. I think if I get a high-spec one, it'll be around $1,000.
Yikes! Do you have that much money? If not, I can borrow you some if you want.
No, that's okay. I have plenty of money after our bonus, so I don't need to borrow anything. Thanks, though.
No worries. When you get your computer set up, make sure you let me know so I can come round for a game.
Sounds good. I should be getting it this week.
Awesome!
Okay. Thank you so much to our wonderful acting talent there.
Just amazing.
Brilliant. I mean, awards coming their way for sure.
Definitely.
So, in that dialogue, as I said before, there are 2
errors.
Did you pick up on those? Did you hear them? Did you catch them? Yeah. Okay. Our first one was...
Our first error was they cost much money. They cost much money.
They cost much money.
Yes.
So what's wrong with that?
Yeah, so the problem with that sentence is that you cannot use the word much or the word many, actually, in positive sentences. We only use much and many in negative sentences and questions. So for questions, you can say, how much money do you have? Or, how much money does it cost? That's correct.
Yeah.
Also, negative sentences. I don't have much money. It doesn't cost much money. Those are fine. But you can't use it in positive sentences unless it comes with to. So you can say, I have too much money, although most people don't have too much money, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it costs too much money.
I can have so much money.
Yeah, I have so much money.
I have so much money.
That would be nice.
I will never say that.
Yeah, no, me neither.
But so you can have so much or too much, but you cannot have much money. And we hear this all the time. So instead?
Right, so instead you can just say it costs a lot of money, or it costs lots of money. This is really the best way, I think, to say this kind of sentence.
Yeah. So just, it doesn't matter if it's a countable noun or an uncountable noun.
It does not
matter. Money, I have a lot of money.
I have a lot of money,
I have lots
of money. Both are fine.
A table, tables. I have a lot of tables.
I have lots of tables.
Yeah.
Both are fine.
Totally fine. So don't worry about countable, uncountable nouns. Just say it costs lots of money.
Or a lot of money.
My wife earns lots of money.
Congratulations.
No, chance of being a fine thing. But yeah, so this, avoid that expression, I have lots of money. All right, so quite a quick fix, but we hear it all the time. It's very, very, very common. So avoid that one if you can. Our second error today.
So our second error today was the sentence, if not, I can borrow you some. I can borrow you some money. This is, again, an error that we hear really often.
Yep.
The error with borrow.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with that one?
Well, it's just a confusion between the word borrow and its opposite, lend.
Yeah.
So borrow and lend.
Right.
To borrow is to receive.
Receive or get something.
So you cannot borrow to someone, or like you can borrow from.
Right.
You lend to.
Right.
Yeah. So the bank lent me some money.
Right.
I had to borrow some money from the bank.
Right, exactly. Owen, can you lend me some money?
I wish.
Okay.
Maybe. All right. Depends how much.
$10.
$10. Okay. I can afford that one. $10 is okay. Anything more than that might be a struggle, but have to pass it by my wife.
Okay. I see.
But yeah, so to borrow and to lend. So let's just be careful with those ones. It's a very, very common error that we hear quite a lot. Okay.
Right. Yep, so those were our 2 errors today, both very common, so just be careful about those in the future. Let's go ahead and take a look at our key expressions from the dialogue. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at those key expressions. So what was our first key expression today, Owen?
Our first key expression was, I'm looking at getting.
Right, I'm looking at getting. This is such a weird expression because when you hear looking at, you think that you're looking at something, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, that's not what it means at all, right? What does it mean?
No, so if you hear looking at plus a verb ing, I'm looking at doing, I'm looking at going, I'm looking at getting, that means you are thinking about it, you are considering it. So I'm looking at buying something, means I'm thinking about buying something.
Exactly, yeah. I'm thinking about buying something.
Yeah, so we use this quite frequently, but it could be very, very confusing for you.
Yep.
So in the dialogue, it said, I'm just looking at getting a new computer.
Yep, I'm just looking at getting a new computer. Just means I'm just thinking about or I'm just considering getting a new computer.
Yeah, so you could say also something like, oh, I'm looking at going to Bali for my vacation this year.
Yep, I'm looking at going to Bali for my vacation this year, just meaning that you're thinking about it. You're thinking about going there. Yeah.
Exactly. So
very useful expression.
Very useful, but could be a little bit confusing. So if you hear that, now you know.
Now you know.
All right.
How about the second expression? What was our second key expression today?
Our second key expression was, how much does it come to?
How much does it come to? Yeah.
In the dialogue, it says, how much does a gaming PC come to these days?
Yeah, and again, you hear come to, and you think that something is coming to you or coming somewhere. But again, here the verb is being used totally differently.
Yeah.
So when you hear the expression come to, how much does it come to? It's just talking about the price.
Yeah.
So it's basically just how much does it cost, particularly a group of items. If you're buying a group of items, you will very commonly hear people say, how much does that come to, or that comes to $20, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So if things are added up, how much does it come to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, exactly.
So another expression which is very, very similar to that, our third one which we used in the dialogue, is...
It'll be.
It'll be.
It'll be.
It'll be. In the dialogue it says, I think if I get a high-spec PC, it'll be around $1,000.
Yeah, right. And again, we're just talking about cost, how much something costs. And so actually, interestingly, I think in the US, maybe in the UK too, if you go to a store and the clerk or the cashier is telling you how much something costs, they almost never say like that costs or that'll cost. They generally will say that'll be or that comes to $20, $25, whatever.
Yeah. So we don't always say, how much is this? You know,
how much does this cost?
How much does this cost? That's textbook learning English, but it's
and
not.
People do say it, but
it's not really how people speak.
Right.
Yeah. We normally say, oh, how much does this come to? Or how much will this be?
Right.
So if you hear those expressions, you know what they mean. Try and use them yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are our key expressions today. We had our common errors. Hopefully those were very helpful for you. Talking about food, talking about money, when you're shopping or in any situation, you can use those expressions, okay? But as always, after this video, make sure you have a look online and see if you can sign up for any of the BS courses that are coming up soon.
We have a bunch of new courses, so take a look at those. And of course, we also have all of the English offerings we had previously. Take a look at BC. And of course, we have the worksheet for this podcast. Don't forget to take a look at the worksheet.
And of course, YouTube. Hopefully you're watching this on YouTube, but if you're not, head over to YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and we'd really appreciate any feedback you have.
Yeah, definitely. And we will see you again next week.
See you then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.